Hi, this is romance novelist Maureen Driscoll, and I have 5 tips for dating after divorce. And I noticed that the retinol I've been using is making my face really shiny. Tip number one, this is not a contest. This is the rest of your life. Now, if you get a divorce, and particularly if it wasn't your idea, and particularly if your spouse has moved on, you're going to feel some pressure like, oh, I'm going to move on too. I'm going to get somebody even better than my old spouse. And I'm going to, if they, have a child, a year from now, I'm going to have a child 10 months from now, whatever it is. No, it's not a contest. And also, while I believe therapy is a fantastic idea for everyone after a divorce, even when it's your idea, if you are still thinking in terms of like, I'm going to show my former spouse, you really, really, really aren't ready for another relationship. So really take some time with this. I'm not saying it has to be years, but just you're going to need some time. You're going to need some time to process this. Now, let's say you get out of your divorce and you're like, I haven't had sex for years. I'm going to go out and I'm going to like have sex with everyone in sight, consensually, of course. Okay, that's fine too, because no judgment here. But if that's your thing, make sure that who the person you're having sex with knows that you're in it to just have sex. That's fine, as long as the other person knows that you're not serious. Whatever it is, honesty is a really good thing. But again, not a contest. Your spouse doesn't matter. You don't have to impress this person anymore. You never have to think about this person ever again. Now, some people are also worried about what will my friends think if I'm single too long. Your real friends are going to be thinking, good for that, good for her. She's taken her time to find somebody she really loves. I hope that happens soon because, I want the best for her. If you've got friends who are like, it's taking her a while, those are not your friends. And guess what? Just like spouses, you can get rid of your friends. You don't even need a divorce process. You can just not hang out with them again. This is not a contest because, as hard as it is to go through one divorce, you don't want to go through another. So this time, really find the right person. You won't regret it no matter how long it takes. Tip number two is to know your personality. The best way to do that is to think about how you were during COVID lockdown. I was fine. I love my friends, but I'm not a very social person. I hate going out. I hate going to parties. I live alone. And I could have done another year of lockdown easily. Dating has been difficult for me because it's hard enough for me to go out with people I know and like. So going out with people I don't know and might not like is not it's not fun a lot of the times. On the other end of the spectrum, you've got people who went out who could not stay home. They had to go out and see their friends, even though there was a chance they were going to die. That's how much they like going out. Now, of course, there's a third category of people who went out because they didn't believe in COVID and they didn't think they could die. And that also, if you're in that group, that will also affect your dating choices, but in a different way. But for group two, I'm going to go out and see my friends, no matter what, dating is going to be perhaps the hardest for you because you are someone who doesn't like to be alone. And, chances of you finding the right person, the best person for you immediately out of the gate, it could happen, but it's kind of slim. Especially because I think everybody should go to counseling, they should go to therapy after a divorce. But there are some people who have never spent any significant amount of time alone. They were always dating somebody and then they got married, and maybe they've been, married for decades and they're single now and they panic. They don't know how to navigate life without somebody. And that is really hard. And so your first instinct is going to be like, I got to get coupled up. I got to find somebody. And, most people want to find somebody. They want to fall in love. They want to find this wonderful marriage or, wonderful relationship for the rest of their lives. That's totally normal. But the thing is, you have to make sure that when you are dating somebody and that you're not doing it just because you don't want to be single. You don't want to, have to deal with the spider on your own or whatever it is. just make sure as you're meeting people, as you're trying them out, figuring out, is this the right person for me? Is it not? Really evaluate them on who they are, how you two fit together, as opposed to, what am I going to do if I don't have someone by my side? So just keep that in mind, because marriage changes people, and particularly long-term marriages. And you probably don't know who you really are until you've spent at least a little bit of time on your own when you get a divorce. You probably don't want to hear that, but it's something that will help you. It doesn't have to be a long time, and it will be different for everyone, but just make sure that you're making decisions that are going to be the best for you in the long run. And that usually involves a little bit of being single. Tip number 3 is to make a list of what you're looking for in your partner. It's easy to just sort of say, oh, I want this hot guy who's successful, who we get along really well, and they like to travel. Okay, but there's more to life than that, and you really want to get specific about what is important to you and what isn't. And at this stage, probably shortly after your divorce, you probably have a really good idea of what you don't want, and that can help you. Like if your former partner was dishonest, then you want honesty. That's going to be on your list. Uh, but it really can help to be very, very specific. I've been divorced for almost 30 years, and in that amount of time, I've had significant relationships about 6 times. And there was only one guy out of the 6 who I would like to spend the rest of my life with. Like if we were to enter each other's lives again at some point, I probably would still want to be with this person for the rest of my life. But when we broke up, I made the list. And I was surprised on the list of 13 things, and basically it was just 13 things because it fit on one piece of paper, because I'm old school, I write stuff down on paper. I was surprised that of these 13 things, he really only met 7 of them. And I'm still positive that he was the right guy for me. But there were 6 fairly significant things that he didn't meet. And it made me think that maybe I really haven't been paying attention through the years of what I wanted. And if you make that list, you could surprise yourself about things that are more important than, things that might be superficial or things you thought you wanted. But when it comes right down to it, no, that's not as important as something else. So sit down, make the list. Chances are no one's going to get everything on the list, but you're going to want to make sure that, maybe you could do old school, like 92% and A. Okay, I'll take that, and go down to whatever your, failing grade is. So just know what you're looking for before you begin the process, or at least wherever you are in the process. Figure out what you want, and you'll be much closer to getting it than just some vague idea. Tip 4, places to meet people. By far, the number one place to meet people is online, with online dating. And when I say that, it probably elicited one of 2 reactions: either, oh, I don't want to do that, or, oh, I really don't want to do that. Now, depending on where you are in that spectrum, all I can say is it is the number one place to meet people. I personally think it's better to meet people in the wild, but that's harder than it used to be. I used to meet people at work. Well, that's kind of frowned upon these days legally. You can meet people in places that you normally go to, like some guy at the gym. But keep in mind, if the date doesn't go well, you're still going to see that person at the gym. You could get set up by friends. But when that has happened to me before, basically, I just wonder what my friends really think of me and thought that we were going to get along. But they tried. Online dating, and I'm going to do an episode just on online dating later. Online dating, yes, it is. I mean, the good part is that they've compiled all of these people who are looking for someone who generally fit your criteria, generally like geography and age. But most of the people, as you're swiping, most of them are not going to be people that you're going to be interested in, probably. And even many of the people you meet, a lot of them may not be people you're interested in either. And I know at this point you're like, this is so unfair, because of all the many things I haven't wanted to do that I've had to do because of the divorce. And meanwhile, my spouse is off living their own life. And like, they didn't have to go through this because they already found somebody. And, I thought when I got married, I was never going to have to date again. Yeah, you're right. This does suck. This is unfair because you did go into your marriage thinking, this is for life. And then it wasn't. And all of a sudden, all of these things that are, you don't want to do. I'm sorry. It's horrible. Acknowledge that because it is hard. But everything worth doing is hard. If you're a runner, chances are you weren't a great runner the first day you did it. I'm a novelist. I wasn't great when I first started writing novels, and 13 years later, I'm much better than I was. So it's not going. It probably isn't going to take you 13 years, um, but it's going to take you as long as it's going to take you, and it is going to require work. But everything worth doing requires work. And you can look at it this way. You are a unique, wonderful person, and you are looking for someone who is unique and wonderful as well. So while I don't necessarily think there's only one person out there for all of us, I do know that we're not looking for just like, anybody who's out there. We are looking for the person who, we really want to spend our lives with. And by default, that probably isn't easy. So if you can look at it in terms like that, it could help this process go better. Uh, because if you look at it like, oh, this is unfair, that's not going to help. Tip number 5 is to reclaim your sensuality. Now, chances are in the final weeks, months, maybe even years of your marriage, things weren't great in the bedroom. That was not my case. We were having sex right up to the moment, basically, that he said he wanted a divorce, which might come as a surprise to the woman he then married. But, apparently 30 years isn't long enough for me to get over everything. But for the most part, if someone leaves, and particularly if they leave you for someone, it can intensify any feelings that you have of being unhappy with your body. We all have those insecurities, and it can be rough. Please get over that. Please love your body as is. For one thing, if you're worried about like, oh, what's some guy gonna think of when he sees me naked? Okay, if a guy is seeing you naked, he's not examining your body. He's just like, whoa, I'm gonna have sex. So he's going to be much less critical of your body than you are. So stop being critical of your body. If you want a personal glow up, if there are areas that you've identified that you want to do something about, okay, go for it. Exercise is a good idea for many reasons. One of them is it helps combat depression. It's good for you physically, and if there are changes that you want to make in your body, exercise can help you do that if you want to do that for yourself. Now, there are ways, like if you just want to go have sex, you don't have to do the glow up. You can just go have sex. There are apps for that. The only thing is you have to be very honest with the other person that is what you're looking for. You're not looking for anything else. And you have to be safe. But again, if that's what you want to do, you can do it tomorrow or this afternoon. I don't know. I don't know what apps you have on your phone. So this is not a prerequisite. But in general, if you just want to feel better physically, do what you need to do. But I also recommend go get some lingerie. I remember I was 42 years old and I was dating a chimp professor who lived in a different state. And I was going to go there for a trip, and I went to Victoria's Secret. I don't even know if they have in person Victoria's Secret shopping anymore because they don't have malls anymore. But I had so much fun. It was really so much fun to buy lingerie. And you don't need your own chimp professor in a different state or in your state. You can just buy lingerie for yourself and wear it, under your regular clothes. You can just wear it by yourself, just walk around your apartment. It doesn't matter. It will make you feel better. It will put you in touch with your body. If you want to buy toys, like let's say you were like always kind of curious about toys, and you didn't use them, buy some toys and experiment. Whatever it is that you want to do physically, uh, do it. Now's your time. If you involve a partner in this whole thing, be careful. But just do it. This is your marriage ended, but your life is just beginning. So go for it. And part of that is really in your control, which is how you feel about yourself physically and emotionally. And trust me when I say the fancy underwear is really going to help you with that. There are a lot of tough things about divorce. I'm not going to lie about that. But anytime you can make yourself feel better, you should do that. And it's wholly unrelated to other people, it's just for yourself. Uh, and yeah, do it. If you like this series, please let me know in the comments. If you have things that you'd like me to talk about, tell me that. If you have friends who might enjoy this, please share this with them. Like and subscribe, all that great stuff. But in the meantime, try to get some joy out of this whole process, because if you look hard enough, you can find it. And you got this.